Alrighty, so we're heading into Barrels Out of Bond now. Barrels Out of Bond is a really interesting level in where that the more recent strats that were found actually make the level a lot easier to do, which is really weird because before we had to do this whole thing where we go down into the basement area, which was just a big pain in the butt. But with some new strats, we realized that we actually don't have to go down there at all, and surprisingly, it made the whole level a lot easier in general. So because of that, I'm not actually going to be going over the two different ways of doing the level. I'm only going to do the more quote-unquote advanced way of doing the level, because it's really the only way you should be doing it, because it's a lot easier to do and also makes the level a lot quicker to do. So first things first, you're just going to want to come off to the left here, and now that we have the ring, we can use that. So what you want to do is just long jump to this side here and activate the ring when you get to the other side here. You're just going to want to jump over this fence. It's kind of picky as to where it will actually let you jump up sometimes, but just keep jumping. Eventually you'll get caught, and it'll let you up somewhere. Maybe. There we go. It's really picky about how it lets you up. Once you get up, just come up to this branch up here, and then climb up here, and we're going to come to the left and grab this stone here. So once we get that, just turn right around, come towards the front gate here, and just hit this pedestal here. That's going to allow us to go into the throne room. Skip this cutscene. So once you do that, we're just going to come down this way. We're going to come down here to the right in the water to grab this red crystal. Again, turn around. Just come up over here. Grab this red crystal here. Come up to the right here. And then this is the last red crystal that we have to grab right here, which is nice. Before, we would have had to go over there and grab that leaf, but because of new strats, we actually don't need that anymore, which is really nice, because it's just one less thing we have to collect. So put all the redstones into here, and then this is just a basic puzzle. What you're going to want to do is grab this one and bring it down to the left. Wait, that is wrong. Bring it down to the right. That was totally on me. The middle one comes down to the right. The one on the right goes down to the left, and then the one on the left is going to go down to the middle. The best way to move these is to kind of move in a diagonal pattern, so by going down and then left or right, depending on what way you have to go, until you get to a point where you just can't really do that anymore. Just because moving it diagonally is faster than just moving it in a single direction. So really what you have to do is just kind of wiggle the control stick in order to move it a bit quicker. So once you do that, the gate's going to open, and to get to that gate, you should have to go across this bridge here. And we're going to make our way down. So once we're down here, you're going to want to use the ring so that you don't get caught by these elves here. And then we're just going to go into a loading zone. So once you're in the stockade, what you want to do is obviously keep your ring on so that the elves won't see you. You're just going to come straight here, and obviously, you know, we're being blocked, so we can't go forward. So clearly, the best way to go is up this ladder. When you're going up ladders, if you continually mash the A button, you're actually more likely to get up quicker. For some reason, the game's like, hey, you're trying to jump on a ladder. We're just going to kind of boost you up a little bit. Anyways, once you're up, you're just going to want to come over here, and you're going to want to talk to Balian. You know, you can just skip out of that. Once you talk to him, just long jump off here, put your ring on so you don't get caught, and you'll notice that these elves down here are now gone. So you're just going to come down here, and you're going to come over to the left here in order to activate this cutscene here. So once you do that, we're just going to come back up, and we're going to talk to Balian once again. Again, you know, pressing A up the ladder makes you go slightly faster. almost got stuck on that barrel. This elf up here can be really tricky. He can kind of like warp around for some reason. It's really weird why it happens. Once you talk to Balian again, you'll be back down here where we activated that cutscene in the barrel room there. So you're just going to come up this way to the path that's now open. More loading triggers. This is another really weird level, like in Overhill, where it had a lot of loading triggers that are really close to each other. This one does too, but they're like actual like loadings, like loading screens instead of just loading zones. So for this part here, what you want to do is grab onto this vine here and wait about a second until it starts to drop, because if you don't, you'll have to go all the way back through the throne room, which is not very good. You're going to want to come around here and grab this crystal, and then we're going to head into this room right here. So coming in here, you have two options when you activate this. You're just going to want to press B, go down to the web potion by using the D-pad. For some reason you can't use the analog stick in order to move through menus, but you're going to want to go down to the web potion and use this. You can use the ring in order to prevent yourself from getting wrecked by spiders, because there are spiders that will try to wreck you. Once you think you're in the clear, you can get the ring off, use your walking stick to go down the slope. It's a little quicker. But yeah, we just go in there to get the crystal that we need. So once we have that, we can long jump back to this vine that we let fall down. Had we not let this vine fall down, we actually wouldn't have been able to grab it because it's too high, and that's just not a good thing. So once we get that, we're just going to make our way back down here, and we're going to set up something called a clip warp. This is the first time we're going to be using clip warps, and it's not too difficult to do, but it can be a little tricky if you don't really understand how it works. So we're just going to save here to be careful, and I'm going to try my best to explain this because it's not very easy to do. So first things first, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to come up here so that you load this area where the elves are. And what you're going to want to do is we're going to want to head back down into the barrel room there, but what you're going to want to do is while you're on your way down there, you're going to want to continually be jumping. You don't want to be on the ground for more than, I think it's like 50-ish frames. It's this is really bad to say, but it's somewhere between 30 and 50-ish frames, and I don't remember exactly what it is. But if you just keep jumping, you'll be perfectly fine. And you can do this with a slash boost to go farther, so that makes it really easy. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stand still up here for about like a second and a half, 2 seconds, in order to set what we would call a safe spot. A safe spot is when the game last thinks that you're on the ground, and jumping around makes you not safe because the game's like, oh, well, they haven't stopped in a long time, so they must be doing weird things. Anyways, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stand in the position you want to use to set up your clip warp, and then you're just going to jump. Just keep jumping and start making your way down to the barrel room here. So you can use the ring to make sure you don't get caught, and what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to come up here. Once you're here, you're just going to face this side here, take your ring off, kind of jump up into this corner here, and do a... Oh, I missed it. Okay. Just kind of jump up into the corner here. If you miss the slash, it's okay, because you can just try again. Just make sure you keep jumping. As you can see here, I'm kind of getting stuck on this ledge, which is what you want. If you use your slash, you'll see that I'm stuck here. And eventually, the game will be like, oh, well, you're in the air, what's going on? And it tries to reset you to the last point you were on the ground. And in that case, because we were jumping the entire way, the last time we were on the ground was actually up in the other area there. And because of that, this area actually got deloaded, which is, you know, really interesting that the game works like that. It deloads a bunch of stuff to make sure the game isn't running too much. But that's the basics of clip warping. I hope that was kind of explanatory. I know it wasn't very great. But there are quite a few videos out there that that might explain it better than I do, at least in like actual runs of the game. I know a lot of people kind of try and explain it, but anyways, so once you do that, you're going to see that everything's kind of deloaded, which is pretty cool. I thought that line up there was an elf, but it's not. So when you load in over here, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to come across the entire stockade until you're on the other side here. And from this bush right here, if you bring your camera to the left and bring it down a bit, you're going to see some courage points over here. What you're going to want to do is line up to about the middle of the courage points here, and you're going to do a you're going to hold your camera down. You're going to do a long jump off and slash boost, and I missed it. We have to grab that crystal down there, which can be a little tricky. But we have to grab that crystal down there, so let's try that again. There we go. So now that we got that crystal, we have all the crystals. That's normally the crystal you would have to get by going into the basement area, but because of this, it's a lot easier to actually get it. We can avoid having to do that entire section, which is really nice. So once we have that crystal, the game's like, oh, you're in the air. We should put you back to the last place you were standing, which of course is up here. Also essentially a clip warp, just we aren't doing anything. We're just going back to where we needed to be. So once you get that, just head back this way until you get to this little hole in the wall here, and then just come on in here, skip all this. This part's a little tricky. What you're going to want to do is just walk forward until these pop up, and then just start putting keys in whatever order it'll let you put them in, and I think I just lost the last one. There it is. So once you put all the keys in, you're going to activate this cutscene, and you have to be really careful here, because normally you would poison this elf's cup in order to make him fall asleep, but seeing as we don't actually poison him, he's still awake for this section. So you just have to put your ring on, come up here, hit the pedestal, and that's it for Barrels Out of Bonds. So I will see you guys when we head into the next level, which is going to be a warm welcome. So I'll see you guys there.